How's it, gamers? Lucas here, and I'm giving you a bit of a rundown of the Destiny 2 beta and what we know from it and what we're getting, what we've got, how it works, and what's going on with the production of Destiny 2. Now, first thing up with the Destiny 2 beta, I've been playing it on the PlayStation 4 Pro, and when you first boot up the Destiny 2 beta, you're going to get thrown straight into a story mission, a homecoming mission, where we'll see things like the Traveler get destroyed, we'll see things like the Tower gone, ruined. So keep that in mind when we get into things like a new play space or a gathering space for people. That's probably not going to be the Tower, because that's all destroyed and the Traveler's gone. And through the introductory movie or cutscene, we get a little bit more story. Actually, well, I would like to say that we get more story in this beta cutscene that we did in Destiny 1. And it's quite impressive to see the NPCs, all the other characters together, actually working with you and talking and using Guardian powers. And it's actually quite impressive. So when the open beta kicks off, you have to give it a go if you're even the slightest part a Destiny fan. Right, so the next thing I want to mention for the Destiny 2 beta is there are two multiplayer modes. One is a quick play on one particular map, and the other one is a competitive play, which gives you a separate map. Now, the quick play game style is kind of like Domination, where you've got A, B, and C, and you have to go and capture those areas. In the competitive play, it's probably a little bit more like a seek and destroy, where you've got to go set a charge or an explosive, and you have to defend it, make it blow up. And the opposition team will have to try and defuse it or kill everybody on your team, and there's no respawn. So once you die, you're out, and it's up to the other teammates to continue on doing their bit. So that's the multiplayer side of things. Now, there is a single strike at present, and that one is called the Inverted Spire. You can see the entire playthrough of that on the Aussie Gamers Express YouTube channel. Check that out if you like. It's pretty cool. It's like a typical strike with a pretty difficult to start off with boss. It's going to be a hell of a bitch to play on Nightfall when that one goes through the rotation, which I'm assuming that's how it will work. Alright, now, so moving on, I'm going to talk about there are some new weapons, and probably the naming weapon that I really enjoyed is the grenade launcher as a special. As your heavy weapon, that one is quite fun to use and a little bit better than rocket launchers in some people's opinions. The ability to equip the hand cannon as a primary, and it uses primary ammo, and you can also equip as a secondary as well, and it'll use secondary ammo. So there's some cool little changes there. The mantle, which has been noticed with people by people when you're jumping up onto a ledge. If you don't quite make it, you'll grab onto the edge, pull yourself up. That's a neat little addition. There's also a few more little abilities that have been thrown in, all different for the three classes. If you're wondering, there are still just the normal three classes that are available, being the Warlock, Hunter, and Titan. Now, there will be three new supers that will come with those three classes. The Warlock gets one called the Dawnblade, and it's basically you'll don a sword, which is all on fire, and you'll swing it, and it'll throw flaming swords at your enemies to do damage. You can use that in Crucible multiplayer, as well as in your PvE world as well. The Hunter will get what's called the Arc Strider, and that's basically a staff or a lance, whatever you want to call it, a big long stick that will glow all blue and electricity like electricity, and you'll just go to town like Donatello in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So that's what the Hunter gets there. And for the Titan gets what's called Sentinel, and I like to call that one the Captain America's shield. And that's exactly what it is. It's a shield that the Titan will run around which will shield you. You can use it to bang your enemies and kill them, and you can even throw it like a frisbee. So those are the three new supers there. Now, before I finish up, I want to talk about frame rate and performance. Because I'm a frame rate snob, a lot of people know me as that, I'm going to mention that Destiny will be 1080p and 30 frames a second, not 60 frames a second. Why won't it do 60 frames a second on the Pro? Well, it's probably because Destiny is a very AI-oriented game. There's a lot of artificial intelligence going on there, not necessarily visually demanding, but the PlayStation Pro just doesn't have enough ticker to do all the calculations, all the networking and all that sort of stuff all at one time and provide a stable 60 frame a second environment. So the only way that they could get it to run was to run it at the half hertz, is what I like to call it, at 30 frames a second. And just to give you a little bit of feedback or explanation as to why, the PlayStation 4 Pro is very GPU intensive. The GPU I've got statistics here, stand by. The PlayStation 4 Pro has 4.2 teraflops in the graphics card compared to the 1.84 teraflops in the original PlayStation 4. But that's a big jump. That's good. That is a good amount of power in the GPU. However, the CPU power, the original had the 1.6 gigahertz and the Pro has a 2.1 gigahertz processor. Not a massive jump. So with that, the PlayStation 4 Pro has a lot of emphasis and a lot of ability to upscale to 4K, which there will be an upgrade for the Pro to give you the 4K or the UHD experience, but it's just not enough to do all the computations and double the frame rate as well. So the PlayStation 4 Pro is not powerful enough. Now, what about Scorpio or the Xbox One X? Probably going to fall into the same boat. I don't know because it's not out. We don't know for sure. But if you look at the same things, the Xbox One had 1.31 teraflops and the Xbox One X has 6 teraflops of power in the GPU. That's a lot of power for the GPU, but it's CPU that we need here for all those AI actions and all that in the game. And the Xbox One had 1.75 gigahertz and the upgraded Xbox One X is 2.3 gigahertz. Not a massive jump once again. These consoles are focusing on 4K gaming. They're not concentrating on 60 frames a second, which I think is misguided, in my opinion. I'd prefer 60 frames a second gaming, not 4K, but that's the story. That's the way it goes. So if you're wanting 60 frames a second, you're going to have to get this sucker Destiny 2 on PC because it's just not going to run on consoles at 60 frames. That's what I've found from the research I've done. The game itself, moving away from the stats and all that sort of stuff that might be boring, it's Destiny. It's more of Destiny. It's kind of like DLC because it's not really that much different, but it's fun. Destiny 1 was good. The biggest criticism that I could have and a lot of other people had of Destiny is it had no story. It was absolutely stupid when it came to the story, and it pissed people off that we had to get the DLC to see if there was more story. And there was still no story. You had to read the Grimoire cards on the websites on your bloody phone or your computer. Now, I'm thinking with the Homecoming mission, it's looking more promising. I think the story's going to be a lot better. It's going to make a lot more sense. And hopefully it might tie up some loose ends that just didn't work in Destiny 1. It's good. I'm definitely going to be playing it day one, and I'm going to be playing more of the Destiny 2 beta. Get onto it. There's an open beta that's going to be kicking off in the next 48 hours, both on the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. Do yourself a favour, while it's free, give the beta a try and see what you think for yourself. But that's all I've got for now. If you've got any questions, comments or concerns about this video or anything in particular, anything related, put it in the comment section down below. I won't leave any of them unanswered. As long as you're specifically speaking to me, I will answer them. If not, have a chat amongst yourselves. Thank you very much for watching. I am Lucas Aurelius from Aussie Games Express, and I will see you on the next video.